From a bird's eye view, Metro QC has been hit with flooding, but so have rural communities. As you can see, floodwaters stretch for miles. Good evening, I'm David Nelson.
And I'm Sharon Durick. The flood of 2019 has impacted much more than just Davenport. Communities up and down the river are taking on water. After one of our reports, KWQC's Sarah Jones received a call. And Sarah, this call included an offer you just couldn't refuse.
That's exactly right, Sharon and David. After our story on Lomax, Illinois, I got a call from a resident in Walnut, Illinois, which is about 60 miles out, and he was inviting me for a plane ride. Harry said he had seen our drone footage of Davenport and wanted me to get the same perspective of rural areas, 3,000 feet up in the air. So if you can see here, this is from Lomax, which we shot on the ground, and you can get a perspective that the road is blocked. But if you look over here, and this is somewhere between Clinton and Prophetstown area in Davenport, you see this main artery blocked off, and you can see how it really impacts communities around the area. This is work, doctors, livelihood. And of course, this is something we wanted to share with our viewers. Up in the sky, Harry says some of the water has already receded.
See the stain on the ground where the water had been.
A few days ago, the view could only be described as
a muddy mess. There's mud everywhere. There's water everywhere. What did we do that the good Lord dumped all this water on us right now?
Harry's been flying for most of his life.
65 years.
And he tries to visit the skies a couple times a month. He says after watching TV6 report about how a main road in a rural Illinois area was cut off by flooding, he just had to call us.
Saw that story, the Lomax story. The reaction was it showed the devastation.
But he says there are some things that only a change in perspective can reveal.
Unless you see it from the air, you can't tell driving down the road what it looks like. You gotta look down. You gotta look down at it.
And Harry says one of the things that becomes very clear is that the flood of 2019 did not discriminate.
Everything. It's everything. The water played no favors. It just took care of everything. It went everywhere. It isn't cured just because the water went down. No, the roads are washed out. The bridges are weakened because of the footings are soft. And there's just more than what meets the eye.
Harry was a farmer.
Corn and beans and cattle.
For almost as long as he's been flying.
Just impacts the fact that they can't do the work. They can't get their crops in. Their livestock is sometimes stranded, and they have trouble feeding the livestock because they're on a little island somewhere. It's going to be a long time before agriculture gets back on its feet again.
Harry says he hopes that the bird's eye view will help people walk away knowing one thing.
That they realize that they're not alone.
Because rural or city, this is all part of the greater QCA. Now, if you see here, this is the plane Harry and I flew out of Davenport Municipal Airport, and I'm really grateful for the time he spent with me, because seeing from the ground and seeing from the air are two different things, but combined, I hope you take away how much this really impacts all of our community, rural farming areas and everything around us. David?
It is a different perspective. Thank you, Sarah.